Gaming is my favorite pastime. And so this next gen with PS5s and Xbox Series consoles, I was really looking forward to it. And it's exciting. It was really exciting to think. I was never trying to like wave a flag on either side. I just like to see what both of these new systems will offer, what their families will offer, what games will get, what especially they're going to do to compete with each other. Because when we have competition, healthy competition, there's a difference. We, the consumers, get to reap the benefits of it. So it's been exactly a year, basically, as I'm recording this, since the PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series S and X have come out. But how has it been? Has there been a good deal of ray tracing games? Has there been 4K 120? A long list of exclusives, new things that they're doing? You know, I just wanted to kind of reflect on the past year, and has it kind of lived up to that big next-gen hype that we might have all had? So, hey, it's Kibiji. I like to talk about games here. Right out of the gate with these, I did a video about why, and I still recommend them. They mostly still hold true today. There's some things that kind of, have shifted, but I have videos on 5 reasons to get an Xbox Series X and 5 reasons to get a PlayStation 5. Because honestly, I respect both consoles. You're not going to want to hear that. There's going to be Xbox being like, ah, and there's going to be ponies being like, ah, but I just don't care. These consoles, what they did the past year, I personally feel has been satisfactory, to say the least. But we've also had this issue that I really wonder what this first year would have been like if COVID didn't happen. Because we instantly saw the kickoff of this generation happen on maybe the Xbox side of things, where Xbox was going to launch, and this sounded so cool at the time, they were going to launch their most powerful console ever, their next-gen console, with their flagship series, Halo. With the newest entry in like 5 years at the time, Halo Infinite. And that didn't happen because, they're showing last summer, people weren't too happy with it, so they pushed it back a year. And that's kind of a note. This was the year of a lot of delays. PlayStation promised the most hype first year a console has ever had. And that's the thing. A lot of the times with these consoles, when they come out, the first year is usually, it's all right. That's usually how it goes. It's all right. I think the Nintendo Switch was like the one exception. Here's Breath of the Wild. Here's Super Mario Odyssey. Here's a new Metroid. Like here's another Kirby. Like, they went hard on their first year in terms of their main IPs. And PlayStation was gonna have that, but they pushed back 2 titles they promised, which is the new Horizon game, Horizon Forbidden West, and the next God of War, God of Ragnarok. They were saying both those would come out in 2021, and I didn't believe that for a hot beat. I thought maybe Horizon, but if they kept to that schedule, I would 100% tell you, because I know people just want to make this a competition. If it was, I'd be like, oh yeah, PlayStation rocked 2021, because can you imagine a world that both of those games came out? That would be insane. But then we also might have to see a world that Halo Infinite launched day one, as it would be today, and maybe by the end of the year we would have got Starfield. That might have been a thing, but we just have to see the here and now and acknowledge that this was the year of delays. There was a lot of delays, but what we still got was cool. On the gaming side of things, how about exclusives? Well, I have a list in front of me. What PlayStation got was Deathloop, Death Stranding Director's Cut, Destruction All-Stars, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, which is DLC, but Ghostwire Tokyo got pushed back. That was another thing that got pushed back. Horizon Forbidden West got pushed back. Jet the Far Shore, Kenna Bridge of Spirits, Oddworld Soulstorm, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is personally I think is going to be a Game of the Year contender, Returnal, and I don't believe Solar Ash and Stray on this list. I believe those both got pushed back too. So 3 or 4 of these titles got pushed back, but still, that's a powerful year. Especially, they don't mention how December we also got Spider-Man Miles Morales, which if you haven't played is a phenomenal game. Please play that. It was a great game. And Demon's Souls. So PlayStation, in terms of great exclusives, had a really good first year just between those 2 titles, Ratchet, Clank Rift Apart, and Returnal. Those 4 especially, man. And Deathloop. Deathloop is made by Bethesda, but that's, for now it's a PlayStation exclusive. Well, what about the Xbox side of things? A lot of these games got pushed back, though, as I read this list. There's Adios, Crossfire X, Dead Static Drive, Echo Generation, and Crossfire X isn't out yet. A lot of these got pushed back. XO1, Exo Mecha, I believe that got pushed back. Forza Horizon 5, potential Game of the Year contender. Halo Infinite is finally about to come out. Lake, Microsoft Flight Simulator for consoles, Sable, Scorn, Shredders. Scorn's not out yet. Scorn got pushed back as well, I think. The Anti-Crucis, The Artful Escape, The Ascent. I almost forgot about The Ascent, man. The Big Con, The Gunk. I don't know if that's still coming out this year. The Wild at Heart, Tunic. I believe that got pushed back as well. 12 Minutes, Unexplored, The Fair's Legacy, and Warhammer 40k Dark Tide. A lot of these games got pushed back. But it's still a little bit technically more than PlayStation that Xbox managed to get as an exclusive this year, but, not the mainstream ones. The only mainstream ones this year, I would say, is Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite. There's nothing on that level of, like, Spidey and Returnal and so on. Well, Returnal is arguable, but both these consoles did a good job of providing us at least a couple big exclusives in the first year, which is great. Like, I consider that a win, personally. And I know I'm talking a lot about the games. In fact, let's pause that for a second, because you're probably already typing in the comments. Yeah, it was a great year if you had one of these consoles, but I didn't. I didn't get one. I can't find one anywhere. Absolutely. That is true. That is another thing we need to acknowledge. Of all the first years for a console, this is the one, I would say, that it's just the most impossible it has ever been to get one. You rarely see these things in stores unless it's an Xbox Series S. And that's because the only way to get them over these freaking scalpers is you have to fight for it. You really do. I highly recommend you go on Twitter and follow with notifications on. You have to enable notifications. Matt Swider. I'll put up an image on the screen and maybe leave a link in the description. But yeah, follow this guy as well as a lot of other people on Twitter with notifications enabled, and they will let you know when there's consoles in stores. Also, call your local chains that aren't like a Walmart and Target, but something that's like local to your state. Like I'm in Washington. We have Fred Meyer's over here. My previous roommate just got a PS5 in the store. It was wild. So that's another idea. Just check stock dates for things. You just have to fight for it, unfortunately. You can't just go in a store or go online and get one anymore. It's really stupid. But before I get to kind of my closing point of like how I feel about these, systems did this year, in terms of like the power, did we get the 4K 120? Did we get the ray tracing? Did we get, the super duper next gen games that we were hoping to get? I personally feel the most next gen seeming game we got is on Xbox's side of things, Microsoft Flight Simulator. That thing is an actual Xbox Series exclusive for good reason. I don't see how that thing could run on a regular Xbox console, the Xbox One. There's no way. That thing is an insane technical feat. And on the PlayStation side of things, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That game looks gorgeous. It does have some ray tracing put into it. However, when you do ray tracing, it lowers the frame rate down to 30, I think. It has, super duper fast load times. It is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Those games did phenomenal. They did really good. And they are super nice showcases as to what these consoles can do. But I would say that's about it. Like, there's not too many games, I feel, that really demonstrated what these consoles can do. That is the first year, though. That's what we get in the first year of these things. The first year of consoles, we don't usually show what these things can do super duper hardcore. It'll be like after the second year that we are really pushing these things to the limit. But still, a lot of neat upgrades. Psychonauts 2, for instance, that's a game I spent a lot of time with. And you could flip back and forth between, like, you want 4K 60 or, like, 1440p 120. That's really cool. There's a lot of games that have that feature. Miles Morales, you can play that on the PS4 or the PS5. I played it on the PS5, luckily. I borrowed it from a friend. And it was really cool to switch back and forth between all the different modes. And it's going to be a while before we have a game that's just straight up like, yeah, 4K, 120, ray tracing. I haven't seen a game that blows me away with its ray tracing yet. I have not seen that fancy pantsy, oh my God, look at how reflective everything is. I personally haven't, but let me know. It's cool to see little touches of it sprinkled into games, like through patches. Gears 5 got a great one. They added a little touch of like soft ray tracing. Doom Eternal, I've yet to replay through that, but I did see they had a patch that they added, here's a 120 frame mode, or you could go to ray tracing. I think they even kept that at 60 frames, which is impressive. So it's cool. These consoles are allowing devs to kind of push games further than they could on the last gen consoles, and that's what next gen is about. We're not going to see huge graphical upgrades, but we're going to see devs able to push things a little bit further, have the frame rate, have the ray tracing. But overall, in terms of the overall year and how these things did, what they did to compete with each other, I feel that the PlayStation 5 came out of the gate way better than Xbox. Because at the beginning, Xbox Series S and X, we didn't have anything new to play on it. We had plenty to play through Game Pass, but just not that big, that Miles Morales, that Demon Souls that PlayStation had. And then PlayStation kind of kept it going. Here's Ratchet and Clank, here's Returnal, and so on. So I definitely think PlayStation came out of the gate way stronger than Xbox. I think Xbox is closing up a lot better. It's funny, they really did. PlayStation came out a lot stronger. Xbox is closing a lot stronger. And I think it's because PlayStation wanted to end out their year with Horizon and God of War, but they're not. But Xbox, they're ending with Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite, which is great. And just before that, there was also Psychonauts 2, which is on PlayStation, but that is by one of their first-party studios, so a lot of people got to play it on Xbox through Game Pass, and that game reviewed phenomenally well. They also, just before that, were like, here's the Ascent, here's Microsoft Flight Simulator for the console, and if you embrace our entire ecosystem, we also just released Age of Empires 4 in October. Xbox, like, the back half of the year, they were doing their best to have, like, something first-party, like, literally every month. That was wild to see. Not to mention, not in those first months, but there was also the Xbox and Bethesda deal that closed during the year. I think it was in March that they had their roundtable or something. And we got to see that in the E3 show. We're going to have Redfall coming exclusively to Xbox, the next game from Arcane, and Starfield, the next game from the people that made Elder Scrolls. That's going to be an Xbox exclusive next year. And we have a lot to look forward to on the PlayStation side of things, but I just personally feel that this year, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Where PlayStation came out of the gate way harder, way faster, way stronger than Xbox, but then Xbox is playing the long game. And that's what happened. They covered the entire back half of the year and gave us a crap ton to look forward to next year. So it's just good. This console generation, that's not me trying to side with either one of them. What I'm excited about is that we have a much more competitive console generation this go around. It's way more competitive, and because of that, we get to reap the benefits. The gamers, like, we get to see these two, oh my God, they're getting a lot of these Game Pass subscribers. How are we going to compete with that? Oh, this game did really good. How are we going to compete with that? Oh, they have a lot of PC stuff. Like, it's already influencing PlayStation. Xbox already, like, they've been embracing, they're going to release a lot of their games on PC. PlayStation is slowly embracing that, and that's because of this competition. It's because of this competition we're getting a lot of these PlayStation games on PC. They put Death Stranding, Horizon, Deathloop is a PlayStation exclusive currently, but it's also on PC. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, that is a PlayStation exclusive as well. That is also on PC. And it's because of that competition that this is working out, and we'll see. And there's a lot of new a lot of new devs that are now part of these guys. Xbox's big thing this year was Bethesda getting 7 or 8 studios, and PlayStation got Bluepoint and I believe 2 other studios. It's just ramping up, and that's awesome. That's awesome for us. It's annoying for those of us that have to see, and I'll probably see in the comments, if you ponies, screw you, Xbox. Like, that's the stupid part of competition. But the good part is us, the consumers, reaping the benefits of seeing these two go neck and neck. And this is a much, much more even Steven console generation this go around. That's exciting to me. That's the most exciting part. Question is, how did you feel this previous year went? Do you wish that there was more exclusive next-gen titles and there was too much cross-gen? I didn't really talk about that. What was the most showcasey game you have played? I'm genuinely curious about that. And what do you hope to see next year for 2022? Do you think we'll get that super duper nice, thing to really showcase these systems? Will PlayStation have something to compete with Game Pass? Curious. Let me know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more content next week on the Game Awards. And don't forget to be geek, be proud, be awesome.